All right. We'll see. It's week 7 here at Agentuity. I can't believe it's week 7. We're missing one of it's like 20% of our whole capacities on the river, floating down the river today, I think. We gave him an instruction. We'll see if he takes it. We told him not to die. That was really the only restriction. He wasn't allowed to die. So we'll see. Hopefully he follows through and doesn't have any issue. But obviously, this proves that you can take time off as a startup founder, right? We give you at least 1 day a month off. So
it doesn't prove it. He just has to work when he gets back at
that's
midnight.
True. That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
He's got the night shift.
Exactly. All right. So we're gonna start it off here with Mr. Blaylock.
All right. Let's do this. Let's see. Let's share this. See my screen?
Yep.
All right. So 2 things we're going to show off. So one of the things is we end-to-end added LLM cost data. So as agents are being run and they're hitting any LLM, it goes through our AI gateway and all that, we will get all the cost data. So let me show you one. I'm going to go into this agent. So this is an agent, and you can see this agent has cost us 3 cents. And then the input tokens, output tokens, what model is used. And so we're going to add more cost data in different spots and like a roll-up reporting, but this is a great way of seeing how much an agent is costing you. And then also on the session runs, we show the pricing data. Like all this tracing data that you see will have a little $sign. Well, this reminds me of Scrooge McDuck for some reason. We'll have the Scrooge McDuck sign, and you're like, oh, this cost me money. So you can click on it. You can see this exact tracing statement, which is a call to GPT-4o. This is how much it costs. So super useful to get nitty gritty details on like, oh, this one prompt in the chain of things that an agent does cost me that. And then you get the roll up data for the agent there. So that's our first foray into cost data, which is super cool. And again, we're going to have it rolled up to project and org and all that stuff in the future too. The other thing I worked on is running title as Ops Center. I don't know what we're going to call it. This will end up in the product at some point too, I think. But we in the background, we need to do things like a customer saying, "Hey, this is not working," or my agent's not working, or whatever. Actually, that happened this morning where we were trying to debug something with what was it? The status. They were coming back. The UI was showing it as an error, and it wasn't. And we're like, where's it at? Well, we could jump into ClickHouse and we could go do all this. Or you could just be like, show me the latest session errors. And then it'll go off, and using tool calling and all this, you can interact with any of the data. And then it does generative UI here. So there's all the session data that we recently had with errors. It's kind of cool. And then also you can get additional details on some of that too as it generates it. But also you'll notice it took some of those sessions and then it also went and called the logs. And so let me pull up the logs. Oh, the reason for that is this thing, which is kind of cool. So you can talk to your data and use it, or at least we can internally now. This is a quick way of figuring stuff out. And then we can also click into the session here, and then it'll open it up, and then we can go right into the session and where the error was and that kind of thing. So anyway, and also saves the stuff in Redis too, so we can save our spots and send it to each other and that kind of thing. So a nice first step into hopefully what agent native and AI native cloud looking stuff is, on a cloud console. So that's it.
Awesome. I'll take over here. All right. So quite a bit of change in the UI this week. A lot more helpful stuff for you all, hopefully. One of the biggest things you'll notice probably is there are a bunch of new items over here in the sidebar. So we are now giving you a cross-project view of your agents, your sessions, your deployments, and your logs now. So you can click into agents and you'll see, again, this is cross-project now. So it's a really quick way to dive in if you're just looking specifically for an agent, or if you're just specifically looking for a session or a deployment or anything like that. Another thing we've done to try and make it a little bit easier is we now have first pass of a command K command prompt pulled up. And so you can go straight to a page, you can sit here and go straight to your logs or whatever. You can also, if you paste in a project ID or an agent ID, those are the only two right now, but we're going to add more. You can just go straight to the project or view the logs for that project or view the sessions for that project. So navigating, finding out the information you need just a little bit faster. Some other things we've done is we're starting to go through the application, and anywhere that we're showing you data that has come back from your LLM calls or your API calls or anything like that, we now have this slightly nicer UI we're working through that's going to show you, if it's an image, it'll show you the image in line. If it's a video, it'll show you the video in line, etc. And we've also got the ability to just click to copy as well, so you can copy it to your clipboard. We're working on getting that working with images as well, so you can copy an image to your clipboard, videos, etc. So working through those things. You'll also see that we've got the same sort of thing now in the metadata sort of sidebar for the spans and the logs and everything else. You can come in here. You'll see a truncated version of this, but if you click, it'll copy the whole entire thing to your clipboard. So yeah, again, just trying to make it easier for you to grab the data out and be able to go use that. You can click on ID or something and go find it. Additionally, another thing we've done is if you are looking at a log, and we're going to add this in more and more places, if there are some IDs that you can see in any of these details, we've now got some additional options. So, here's the project, you can go straight to the project, you can copy the ID of the project, or you can view the logs and be taken to the logs for that project. So just trying to help you get around faster and faster. On the logs page, we've added some additional filtering capabilities here now. So, you can come in here and you can type in, just whatever message you're looking for, and it will return the messages that match that. We've also got some additional filters now, so you can do agent name, etc. And there's this other really cool thing that Bobby worked through, which is you can now pick the environment for logs and sessions. So, when you're in dev mode, it's sort of like local development, and you don't necessarily want those things showing up in the UI when you're looking at your sessions. You just want your production ones. But we've now got the option to, you can actually toggle between local, just cloud, or both local and cloud. So bit easier to sort of, again, filter out the data that you don't want to see and find what's important to you. Additionally, one other thing we've done is we've added the filter stuff up here into the URL as query params. Now we're using the Nux stuff, so you'll see that you can even put characters that normally would be URI encoded. So it's just a bit easier as you sort of pass it around to your coworkers, and you can even go in if you wanted to manually change the URL, it's going to be a little bit easier than having to remember all the URI encoding. Next up, on the deployment screen now, we actually are pulling in GitHub information. So you can see what branch it was, what commit it was. You can see the commit message, and you can actually go and view the commit on your GitHub repo. We're working through right now, also adding some additional information for if you deployed it from CLI. Next up, this was highly requested. If you're in a project settings and you're looking at your environment and secrets, you now have the ability to actually delete these environments and secrets. So hopefully it makes everyone's life a little bit easier. And the last and final thing is we've got the session screen now is working a bit better with responsive screens. So you'll see here that the actual waterfall spans will collapse down nicely up to a point, and then it will start collapsing down and truncating the name of the operation. So that's it for me for this week. Over to Bobby.
Hello. There you go. Okay, so this week we released our GitHub action. This is in addition to our GitHub app. That's kind of the OAuth process that I showed off last week, which you set up through this integration section. So what's nice about the GitHub action instead of the GitHub app is that it's a little bit more customizable. So if you imagine a scenario where you have two Agentuity projects inside of one repository, or if you have like your UI and then your Agentuity agents and the same repo, you could use this GitHub action as just one part of your deployment process. And another part would be like deploying the UI that interacts with this. So this is released here. Agentuity deployment action in the marketplace. And I'm gonna kick it off right now. So I'm in my basic agent. You can see I have some previous deploys right here. So I'm just gonna go into this action and rerun the job. Here, watching it spin up. You'll notice that you have to install Bun or Python in your action too. So that's a little bit of a part where you'll have to make that decision, right, based on how your project is configured. So we see our pending deployment. We can see that's from the CI, and just like Matt mentioned before, we're working on adding information here, so you can see all the information that you can see with the GitHub app integration, right? So that's the GitHub app or GitHub action. And then I also did some work this week on some of our triggers. So right now I've been working on the Cron trigger. So right now how you set it up, right? I'm on the project page. So I'm on the project tab. I'm in my basic agent 3 project and settings integrations. And I come to this cron setup page. You can click to set up a cron. So, and a cron is linked to a specific agent, right? We want this cron to not kick off the project, but kick off an agent within the project, right? So click save here. And again, we're working on this screen. We can see our cron job's been created, and it's created the relevant cloud resources that we use to kick that off. And now this is, I still need to do the tail end piece of this and actually show the agent running, but this is where we're at. So we'll actually probably end up showing this. I'm sure Matt's going to do something beautiful. We're going to show this in this agent screen, and you'll also be able to configure it right here. That's it for me.
Awesome. Cool. All right. I worked on a lot of infrastructure stuff this week, but towards the tail end of the week, I worked on a few SDK-oriented things. So let me start first with this test Python. I've got a test Python, and let me just show you what it is here. It's basically it's using the OpenAI Agent Framework. I've got some other stuff in here, but you can basically see it's just a example agent set of agents using the Agents Framework, which comes from OpenAI. So a number of different kind of agents wrapped inside of here. This is kind of right out of their demo. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just in my run statement here, I'm just orchestrating it inside of a span. I'm running their set of agents. And then I'm just setting back the response here when it runs. So I'm kind of getting all this working. So I'll do a quick demo. So Agentuity dev. This will be out hopefully in the next day or so. You can sort of see it. It automatically detected the OpenAI agents. I'm in dev mode. So let me go here over into my dev mode CLI. Okay, so how do I hide this dumb thing? I hate this thing. Sorry. All right, so I'm just going to send it some data. Doesn't really matter because I'm not looking at the data. And then you can sort of see over here in dev mode, it's running. Okay, it ran. There's my output that came back from this set of agents. And then you can sort of see my trace here. And there you go. You can sort of see the different traces as it goes through the different OpenAI agents. A big shout out to the OpenAI team this week, Kevin Winnery, one of the DevRel evangelists over there that we worked with at Accelerator a long time ago, for helping us get ready for our launch and also help us for a few things. So we're excited. We're hoping to roll this out first class in the next day or two. I'm trying to work through one of the things that I don't have yet is the LLM calls in here. So I'm kind of working through a couple of issues with that. And then, so that came in from a couple of our people from our community, so appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to share real quick, we keep running into this issue with the agent endpoint. So when you're in production and you want to send your data, you want to send data to your webhook that is configured for your agent. We've been running into kind of this cognitive dissonance issue where when you're deving local, it's sort of a synchronous interface. Behind the scenes, it's asynchronous, but we, of course, block and wait and show it in UI and all those types of things. So it seems like you're kind of invoking your agent synchronously, even though it's fully asynchronous. We just kind of make it a little bit easier for you. When you interact with your webhook, though, of course, that's fully asynchronous. So it's sort of a, it's like it's not an API, it's actually a webhook interface that you get. And as Bobby said, we're going to be opening up a bunch of other types of triggers like Slack, et cetera. One of the things we just made, based on a lot of feedback and sort of watching people have a problem when they go to like post to their agent and it says it just gives you back an ID. That's clearly not working. It's not clear what's happening there. So we've just rolled out a change about an hour ago to make this a little bit easier. One is we've made it very clear in the URL, this is a webhook, and we've prefixed it with webhook and then your agent ID. And then we've also done a couple other things. So let me just go hit this URL here and show you what happens now. I'll kill this screen. And let's see, no active agent. It's probably because I haven't deployed it yet. So let me find a different one. Sorry. Let me go find a different one real quick. I have deployed. Or I can just deploy it. How about that? Agentuity deploy. It's fast, right? All right, that was pretty fast. 565. Okay, so let's just validate the URL again. Let me get that URL. Let's do this again. Okay, there we go. So again, very, very quick to deploy. That was a Python agent, spun it up on the fly. We're now providing back a little bit better information here. Not only success true, but we're providing, this used to say run ID. Again, sort of make it very clear, this is a session. We made a session ID and it's got a second prefix. We also given a message, your request has been received. And so to make it a little bit easier, so and then we do provide the location, so you can kind of go in here. Right now, it goes straight to the session screen, and it's obviously waiting here. It's running. There's your deployment, and it should be spinning up here in a second, unless I have a filter wrong. No, I have a filter. Here it is. But we're trying to make it a little bit easier. We will, hopefully, over the next few days, we'll make it also where we can just provide a link directly to that session. Since the session is fully asynchronous, it might not be available, so we need to do a little bit of work on the UI to not show a 404 screen if it's in the running state and we haven't received the data yet from your agent. But we tried to make that a lot easier. Thank you for all the feedback for that. Hopefully, this will make it a little bit easier, a little bit more clear what's happening. Behind the scenes. And with that, boy, this was a faster one today, I think, because we have one less person. So appreciate all the feedback from the community. If you haven't signed up for the wait list, please do. We're starting to really turn those on and get a lot more feedback, a lot more people joining the Discord, a lot more community feedback. So we very much appreciate it as we're gearing up for our public launch here in the next month. A few weeks away, not too far away, right, Rick? What do we got, like 3 weeks now?
Yeah, I think it's just 3 weeks. Yep. It's crazy.
So it's coming really fast. So we got a lot of work to do, guys. So we got to get Robin off his vacation.
We have 33% of the time the company's been in existence left. So it's
left.
fine.
We
So we can
all
get
of this.
what we did in that time period. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. So, well, I appreciate everyone, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
Ciao.
Thanks, everybody.